and they felt masculine. They wanted to be masculine, but society was telling them they should be softer, that it was being toxically masculine if you wanted to play sports and chop wood and go to war. And so men were so emasculated and so beat down that then there was this revolution of what was actually toxic masculinity.
Conservatives. There's no denying the fact that I lean towards more conservative values when it comes to social issues, when we talk about dating relationships and such. But when it comes to politics, there are certain ideas that conservatives just do not understand when it comes to the conversation of intersexual dynamics and why so many men are fed up with today's dating market and are walking away from marriage, dating altogether. And if you're somebody who is married, like myself, and you understand what's been happening with young boys getting left behind and the Me Too movement and masculinity being suppressed, and you truly understand intersexual dynamics, right? The challenges of dating in today's modern day, and you've been through this whole experience, then there are certain things you know as a man that traditional, especially the conservatives that are really political, just don't understand. This is a great example of that. Let's check it out.
The Tate brothers and others, which I feel as a female that doesn't represent true masculinity. That to me represents douchebaggery. And as a woman, I want a strong man who is a protector and a provider that will go to war if need be, that will protect me, protect my family, make money. I see that as being actually masculine. That's like the man that I grew up with, my dad. But what we're seeing now is these young men who look at Andrew Tate and the Tate brothers, and they see somebody who's just quite frankly a douchebag and disrespects women. And because they've been so emasculated, they're like, oh, great, that's a manly man. But that's not right either. So at some point, I think we'll go back to maybe meeting in the middle here. You can be a man who has feelings and emotions, but you can also go to war and protect and defend your family. I'm hoping we can get back there. But the two extremes right now, they're confusing men, and quite frankly, they're leaving women with few choices. And that's the real tragedy here.
No, that's not the real tragedy here. And I'll be honest with you. I don't know most of these people. Now, I did do a little bit of research, of course, so I could pick out a few of the faces that I recognize, like the woman who just spoke, Tommy Lahren, who is like a political commentator. She also commentates on like pop culture, has a show. And this guy here is definitely familiar. Gentleman who's going to speak next right here is definitely familiar. And of course, we have Piers Morgan. I got more to say. Let's keep listening.
You see, I completely agree with you. But Andrew, you were shaking your head quite vigorously. Why?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just more feminine or feminist nonsense, ultimately. And the covert feminism in society is big, especially on the conservative side. So here's what happens, right? Women need to have feminine virtues for men to be pursuing masculine virtues, for you to say things like, well, men, what I want is for men to protect me and I want men to make money. Well, that's great. What that ends up doing is it gives you a set of privilege in society. What do men get? What do men get for doing that for you? What are we getting from women for doing that? Are we getting chaste virgins on our wedding night? No, we're not getting chaste virgins on our wedding night. Are we getting women of great virtue? No, we're not getting women of great virtue. Courtly love is supposed to be done for women of great virtue. Where are they? Well, they're nowhere. And so in modernity, in society, when female conservative influencers say this, it's actually a form of covert feminism. They're saying, I want privilege in society. Right? But what is it women are giving to men to get it? What are they giving them? Tell me.
Well, can I please chime in here?
Yes, you can. And then James can, and I'll come to you, Sean.
No, I would love to. I love this whole thing of like, if you're a female conservative and you don't believe that men should be douchebags, that all of a sudden you're a covert feminist. Call me a feminist. I really don't give one crap one way or another, but I can tell you this. A lot of these men, these podcast hosts on the right that like to think of themselves as these big masculine men, and what am I getting out of it? I can tell you this.
There's that feminism.
All right, I believe I'm a woman. Yeah, there's the feminism. Oh, and then you're interrupting me too.
Didn't take long, did it?
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you want to speak over me?
Yeah, I don't care if you call me. I don't really care if you call me a
strong,
feminist.
independent woman.
Yeah. Yeah. You're actually interrupting me. I didn't interrupt you when you were spewing your bullshit. So now it's my turn. Okay.
You mean the truth?
Like I said before. So I believe there we go again. Piers, I'm a woman of virtue. I happen to be independently successful. I have a husband who's not only a former professional athlete, but is currently a professional baseball coach. So is he not a masculine man? I mean, I'm confused here. What's your concept
Don't you
of a
understand that
masculine man?
misses the
Mine is a
point?
man who
That
respects
misses-
me.
Yeah, that misses the point, though. Like you
What does it have to do with anything? What Andrew, the man right there, the Pierce called Andrew, who's talking right now, what he is saying is, what do men get? And when it comes to female conservative influences, and not only them, this is the same type of sentiment you get a lot in churches who don't understand the dynamics of the current issues within the dating market, and they'll just minimize everything to women are the way that they are because men are the problem. And as soon as men man up and are responsible, then women will fall in line. So men are the leaders, and because men are supposed to be the leaders, it's your fault. And men need to fix women, which is insane because they don't understand that authority without responsibility is slavery, right? You don't have control over any one of these women in today's society unless if they actually relieve control to you. They give power to you. That's what submission is. That's what leadership is you have power to decide. Now, your wife can do that. Maybe your girlfriend could do that. But are these women doing that? No. Even the ones that are right politically leaning or may identify as conservative also have this problem.
still not contending with the argument that I'm
what's your
making. I'm
point?
saying inside of society, right this second, right, masculinity is not only punished, but also women on the right, covert feminists on the right, are constantly and consistently talking about how they need to have privilege in society. I want men. Their version of masculinity is men who take care of us, men who protect us, men who do all of this. Those are all duties that men have towards women. Great. What are the duties that women have towards men? What are the duties that women have towards anything? What do men get out of this arrangement?
Right.
What are we getting out of this arrangement? Can you tell me?
I mean,
Well, I
as I
would
was going to
argue
answer
that
a
men
second ago,
innately
Well,
should
I
be
don't- I don't
wanna
protectors
interrupt
and
you.
providers.
Hang on one second. Let Tommy
Most
respond.
men are born that way.
Let Tommy respond to that, and then I'll come to you, Jez. And then
Yeah,
Sean,
most
you've
men
been
are-
waiting patiently. So what?
Most men are born to be protectors and providers. I can't imagine my dad saying, you know what, to my mom, you know what, I'm not going to be a protector and a provider unless you do this.
That's because your mom was also born to give something of value, and he didn't have to say that. But trust and believe, if he was dealing with the shit that men today are dealing with, then he would have spoken out. This is ridiculous, and this is the problem again with the conservatives. One of the things that if they worked out, they would understand this whole problem all around.
That's not how real men operate. Real men are protectors and providers, and they marry women who hopefully
great.
have
A
some
woman telling
virtue,
us what
but
real
also
men
bring a
are
lot to
again.
the
Great.
table as well, that are great mothers, great wives, caretakers of the home. There's nothing wrong with being a traditional wife and mother. You're misunderstanding me if you think that I think that women should just be out doing whatever they want. I think that
I
there
love getting
are
lectured
gender
by
roles that
women
should
on
be
what real men
respected.
are. That's
But I
great.
don't think a man needs to get something out of it to be a manly man, a protector, and a provider. If you think you
So
need to
nothing.
get
So you
something
should
out
have
of it,
nothing.
I quite frankly
No,
don't
so
consider you a
nothing.
real man.
Wow.
Yeah, so you have
Okay.
nothing. So you have nothing.
But we'll
No women
discuss
have
in a
no
moment
duties,
whether
nothing.
Andrew
They just get
Wilson is a
privilege.
real man.
Piers,
But
Piers,
let's
I
go to
offer nothing. I
Let-
offer nothing.
you
He didn't
offer me
offer
a
a
lot
single
of
argument.
things, Tommy.
No.
That's why I always love having you on the show. You know that.
This is terrible. This is terrible. And trust me, guys, I understand that there are difference of values that people may share depending on who they may come in contact with, right? You may contradict with Andrew Tate. You may have contradictions with like Fresh and Fit. And I mention those two because they're the most commonly brought up public figures within these conversations. At the end of the day, that's not what this conversation ultimately was about. He had a pretty decent question there is, what do men get? It's not just a one-sided issue of men have to do this, men have to pull themselves up by the bootstraps. Cool, that conversation can be had. But when someone really doesn't understand, like they really don't get it, and they co-opted these conversations and they don't know what it's like to date or navigate today's dating market as a man, then they believe once you as a man become the man who you are, then women just fall in line. And they don't understand that these chicks are out of order, that they are feminists, and some of them don't even know that they're feminists. They know that they don't know that they weren't raised up to properly cooperate with the ideal type of men who they all believe that they deserve. Let's check out a few of these comments, what the people have to say here. Top comment here reads, okay, well, the top comment here is a pinned one by Pierce Morgan that says, men, when was the last time you cried? Now, why? See, that's also the other thing. Why are we talking about men crying? You know, like always trying to soften men up. Men cry. Men cry. Men are human. But why is that? Why is that the conversation? Somebody else here says, women, we want manly men. Men, okay, but we want womanly women. Women, how dare you? Right. This person says, W. Andrew Wilson, what duties do women have? Total silence. This commenter says the worst type of feminists were the ones that hijacked the masculinity movement and said, sure, you should provide and protect and sacrifice your life for us. That's great. But then proceed to dodge their end of the bargain. Andrew exposes them beautifully here. And there's so many of them out here like this. There's so many of them out here like this. It sounds good. Like, yes, you want a man who's masculine, who's ready to die, who's ready to do all this stuff.